where the fight took place, and forced Dricus Du Plessis to fight entirely on his terms. The numbers tell part of the story: 37 significant strikes landed, but over 500 total strikes attempted, which is now the most in UFC history for a single fight. Most of them were short ground shots, not devastating by themselves, but they added up and constantly drained Dricus. What deserves credit though is Dricus' submission defense. Not many fighters survive Khamzat's rear naked choke attempts. We've seen Usman get caught, Whitaker forced to tap, and others folded under the pressure, but Dricus fought them all off. His jiu-jitsu experience clearly saved him in those moments, even when his wrestling defense failed him, because when it came to stopping takedowns, he had almost nothing for Khamzat. He was easy to topple over, his stance didn't give him balance, and Khamzat took full advantage. The only other wrestler Dricus had fought was Derek Brunson, and with all respect, Brunson is nowhere near Chimaev's level in grappling. This was going from 0 to 100 in terms of wrestling opposition. Khamzat's strategy was simple but suffocating. Get the takedown, control, chain wrestle if needed, and work his way into dominant positions. Multiple times, he got to position that signals total control. Getting it once is a bad sign for your opponent. Getting it multiple times shows just how wide the skill gap was. Dricus burned tons of energy just trying to escape, and even when he did, Khamzat dragged him right back down. One of the most fascinating sequences came in round 1. After a front kick to the body forced Dricus to adjust his stance, Khamzat timed a perfect double leg. As Dricus tried to defend, Khamzat transitioned into crucifix by trapping his arm off short ground, and from there, Dricus minimized damage by smartly tucking his head into Khamzat's chest. But it still left him stuck underneath, burning energy. That scene repeated itself again and again throughout the fight. Dricus did have his moments. In the later rounds, when the fighters were slippery, he started reversing some positions, even taking Khamzat's back once in the 5th and threatening a rear naked choke of his own. For a second, the crowd believed he might pull off a movie-like comeback, but Khamzat stayed calm, defended well, and escaped. That late Hail Mary guillotine attempt from Dricus was his last shot, but by then, Khamzat had too much control banked to let it slip. The most impressive part of all this wasn't that Khamzat dominated, that was expected, it was that he kept the exact same pressure and pace without gassing. Dricus tried everything to fight out of the positions: fence grabs, spinning strikes, constant attempts to stand up, but Khamzat neutralized it all. Whenever the fight was on the feet, it was only 4 seconds at a time before Khamzat dragged it back into his world. By the final bell, there was no debate. Khamzat won a dominant unanimous decision and claimed the middleweight title. Was it the most entertaining fight? Maybe not, but it was a display of elite wrestling that this division hasn't had to deal with in years. The lightweights experienced it with Khabib and Islam, and now the middleweights are going to have to adjust to Khamzat. If you can't defend his takedowns, you simply can't beat him. Looking forward, I think guys like Nasruddin Imavov, Bo Nickel, or even Anthony Hernandez might give him tougher stylistic matchups with stronger wrestling backgrounds. But right now, I don't see anyone at middleweight stopping Chimaev. The UFC's investment in him has finally paid off after years of hype and build-up. He's the champion, and the way he won, in such a lopsided, suffocating fashion, shows why he might hold this belt for a long time.